On December 10th, 2010, the Victor Pinchuk Foundation and the Pinchuk Art Center hosted the first annual Future Generation Art Prize Award ceremony at the Ivan Franko Theatre in Kiev, Ukraine. The winners of this year's inaugural main and special prizes were selected by an international jury featuring Daniel Birnbaum of Sweden, director of the Stadelschule Art Academy, Frankfurt am Main, and director of the Venice Biennale 2009. Okwoi Enwezor of Nigeria, director of Documenta 11, former Dean of Academic Affairs and Senior Vice President at San Francisco Art Institute. Yuko Hasegawa of Japan, Chief Curator of the Museum of Contemporary Art in Tokyo, former Chief Curator of the 21st Century Museum of Contemporary Art in Kanazawa. Ivo Mesquita of Brazil, the Chief Curator at the Pinacoteca de Estado de São Paulo and Curator of the 2008 São Paulo Biennial. Erhard Schneider from Germany, the General Director of the Pinchuk Art Center. Robert Storr from America, Dean of the Yale University School of Art and Director of the Venice Biennale 2007. And Chinese artist Ai Weiwei. As Ai Weiwei could not be present in Kiev at the award ceremony, he sent a video address to artists and the audience.
Hello, I'm Ai Weiwei. I'm very proud to be part of this project, and even so I cannot really freely travel to us a jury, but I carefully looked through all the entries, and I feel you guys are very great. I mean, those artists, you're so young, but your work I'm really admired of, and I think it's a very good work, and I hope in the future you can be very much successful, and will do well.
The reason why I'm here, I mean, many years ago I heard about this, and someone asked me if it happens, will you be involved in the jury? And I said, sure, interesting. But now the real reason for me to do things like this is to see new art, and it's a very rich exhibition of young artists. And even though I work with this, and I should know, I have to admit that at least half of them I've never heard of. So, you know, it's an interesting thing for me, not just the kind of event that can be fun, but if you work with exhibitions in museums or biennales, you always want to know what's going on in different parts of the world, and this exhibition helps me a lot.
You know, it's amazing to have gotten so many responses. And even though we're talking about 1 year, but to put everything together, to inform people, to be able to get the responses, over 5,000 and some responses, and to be able to look at all the works and put together the exhibition. 1 year's time frame, that's pretty amazing. But the work looks great.
You know, when I invited to the Mr. Victor Pinchuk to the Geisai, like 3 years ago, he was really excited in the Geisai, and he said, okay, so I have to make looks like that, but you know, reality is much bigger and much fantastic, like the price. So I'd been really shocked, like, you know, because over my head. And also he did a statement in launching at New York City last year. So at that moment was same thing, like very confusing. So what is his goal? Like, you know, internationally, he's in the Ukraine and Kiev, like how he wants to coordinate. But reality is 6,000 artists to coming to like involve this project. That is incredible, like, you know, unbelievable effect.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to come back to Kiev, so it's homeland for me. And of course I was very curious to see how the works look.
I think it's a great honor for me to welcome you all to the first ceremony of the Future Generation Art Prize. I was just thinking, to have such an incredible audience here what is the reason why we are meeting together here? And I was thinking, one of the main points for all of us is the love of art. And we trust the artists and their works, that they have the capacity to influence our viewing and to change our perspective of viewing and thinking.
Special guests at this year's award ceremony included members of the International Board of the Future Generation Art Prize, Richard Armstrong, director of the Solomon R. Guggenheim Foundation and Museum in America, Alfred Papillon, director of the Musée de National d'Art Moderne, the Pompidou Center, France, Miuccia Prada, the founder of the Fondazione Prada in Italy, and Sir Nicholas Serota, the director of the Tate Gallery in England. All four mentor artists of the Future Generation Art Prize, Andreas Gursky, Jeff Koons, Damien Hirst, and Takashi Murakami, came to Kiev especially to attend the award ceremony. For the very first time, all these outstanding contemporary artists were united on stage to welcome the winner of the main prize.
The first time in the history, all these four artists are gathered together.
I don't know if you were thinking or planning of saying anything, but it seems such a great opportunity to have four great artists on stage. So I thought I might throw a question or two at you. Jeff, what have you learned from the process of the inaugural Future Generation Art Prize?
Well, you can see that young artists are really making wonderful work, and that it's always a universal vocabulary.
Damien, you've won many prizes in your life. What's it like being the other end of the barrel, as it were, or telescope?
You mean this end or the end winning the prize?
I mean this end.
I prefer winning the prize, I think. But no, I mean, I think it's great. I think Victor, what he's done here is amazing. And I think he's a great patron of the arts and he's a great philanthropist. And I think, you know, all children are artists, aren't they? And I think any encouragement, there's a lot more unsuccessful artists than there are successful artists. So I think it's fantastic that they get this opportunity.
Yeah, for me, coming back to Kiev, it's like coming back to homeland.
Yeah, I'm very, surprising for this big event, and I'm very happy to see to the young artists to grow. Looks like explosion. So today is very surprising for watching at Pinchuk Art Center, the young artists. That is, over my head.
The artist who we make mention as a citation Nikolai and Mircea.
Disarming, even deceptive simplicity, Mircea Nikolai tells a complex, multi-level tale of the coming together and coming apart of his family against the background of the coming together and coming apart of socialism in Romania after the Second World War. Using documentary film footage, snapshots, architectural photos, his mother's shoes, and pictures and models of vernacular kiosks of modern design, he gives us a moving as well as critical images and symbols of the interweaving of private life and history, the personal and the political. Hey. Well, I really hope this will make my mother proud.
Mircea Nicolae, a Romanian artist, received the special prize of $20,000 from the Victor Pinchuk Foundation, which will be allotted to fund an artist in residency program supporting her further artistic development.
Well, I don't want to keep you all waiting. On behalf of my colleagues, members of the jury, we would like to announce the name of Cinthia Marcelle as the winner of the inaugural Future Generation Art Prize.
And I will read the jury's statement. With a keen sense of scale and sculptural impact, Cinthia Marcelle's beautifully composed films capture the viewer immediately. Her visually powerful works in the exhibition impressed the jury through their visual economy and rigorous form. We congratulate her to her successful synthesis of choreography, landscape, and performance. Congratulations.
So I'm really surprised to be here. It was a long trip to arrive in Kiev. And I would like to thank you, the audience and everybody. Just it. My first feeling? Well, for me, it's like a lesson of freedom.
Cinthia Marcelle, a Brazilian artist who makes films, photo art and installations, was announced as the main prize winner of the Future Generation Art Prize for 2010. Cinthia received $60,000 in cash and $40,000 to be invested in the production of new works of art.
I'm presenting 3 videos. It's a trilogy, but I realized that it was a trilogy when I recorded the last video, Crusade. And for me, it's the first video, Fountain 193. Is about the origin of something, the origin of a kind of word, and because it's an inverted fountain. And the second video, it's about the time, and because it's a kind of clock sense. And the third video is about the language, how the language came. So I think this trilogy is about 3 steps of the idea of word, you know, how to create a new word. But anyway, I don't believe in words, you know. I prefer to believe in the power of the images and the sensation, the relation with the person and the work, you know. I think everything that I talk about my work, it's nothing.
Hi, Victor-san. どうぞ。Victor Pinchuk, Mr. Please.
Okay.
I'm proud to be in this one room with the greatest visionaries of contemporary art, with really unique people. And I'm proud for my country, for my city, that we have great honor to have these people here. And I want to say to the young artists, everybody is here, these people, for you, this is beginning. And just you have to know that world needs your success. We are here to inspire you. You have to remember this day for all your life.
Could I also invite now all the other members of the jury, the board, and of course the remaining participating artists to come and join us on the stage. Thank you. Please all come up.
Thank you for coming, and hope to see you 2012 here in Kiev again for the second edition of the Future Generation Art Prize. Thank you.
We quickly came down to 4 or 5 artists. So it shows that even though the people in the jury come from different parts of the world and the artists come from many, many different parts of the world, somehow one agrees that some things look more serious and more interesting than others. And then in the end, it was a negotiation. And chairman, that was not something that was decided this morning. It's just that someone has to try to be the diplomat who brings out the common, the common decision.
You know, art's a universal vocabulary. This continues to support that art's about communication, and we all have the same wants, we all have the same desires, and art can really serve us all and bring a transcendence into our lives. It can make our lives fuller. So it's great to have such a focus on the global, universal quality of art as a communicator.
But when it comes to new parts of the world where contemporary art has not been so present, I think it's just an instrument. It's a way to put attention on contemporary art, and if it's a young artist prize like this, I think it's only good. I think it's a good thing, probably for the city and and for the art world also.
You always stay true to yourself, and as an artist, the only thing that you have to do to make your work is stay true to yourself and follow your interests. And that's the only thing an artist can do. And if you do that, you'll have a true relationship with your work. Your work will make connections that are profound, and it'll be a very metaphysical experience.
I think that every opportunity to be in a jury like this also gives you an opportunity to learn, not only from the work that you're looking at, but also from your colleagues, to share perspectives. And whilst there was it was mild debate, simply because the exhibition was so well prepared, very wonderfully programmed, that we had the opportunity to really have a direct experience of the work in ways that some juries do not really work. So this, for me, was an added bonus, and as Daniel mentioned, the opportunity to see not only a diversity of practices, but also to see a range of works and artists that some of us really didn't know very much about in the beginning, certainly makes the Pinchuk Prize for me a very important one, because it will always be not only just about a prize, but about discovery and about possibilities of the artist in the future.
I think that most of the prizes are defined by national terms rather than international. Most of the international awards are made as lifetime awards to much older artists. So maybe the Hugo Boss is one of the few prizes which is given at an international level. And so Pinchuk, and the prize that we're celebrating today is really the first that recognizes that the world has changed very dramatically in the last 20 years. But we have to look not just to Northwest Europe and North America, but across the whole world. And you see in the range of artists and the range also even of the jury and the selectors, that it's a very different world from the world we knew before. So I think that this prize will immediately capture enormous interest in the art world.
First of all, you must know it was a long process to come here to reach this stage. And it will be another long process to continue. As I think the most important thing is not to see this as an end point, as a fixed point, but that we permanently will continue working with young artists. It's a promise for the young artists who were nominees. we keep you in mind and we keep our eyes on you. This is very important.
Find out more at www.pinchukartcenter.org.